Welcome to Fancounters. My name's Nick.
And I'm Elizabeth.
And you can reach us by email, because many of you have, at hello@fancounters.com, asking, Elizabeth, what is your snack today?
Oh.
Do you know people ask that question?
That's lovely. Today we will be dining on some baked barbecued Lays.
Mm-hmm.
And a little bit later, towards the end of the show, we will be having a Greek yogurt.
Excellent. So now if you hear the eating noises, you know what she's having. The emails say, if she's going to eat on mic, gosh darn it, we want to know what she's having.
That's right.
So now we know. We're also on Twitter at Fancounters Live. If you want to tweet to us what your snack is while you're listening to the show today, we'd be happy to read those comments. And our group, Sharpie Nation, has grown significantly.
Yes.
So that was kind of cool to see the numbers go up a little bit, but they're still nowhere near our Facebook group. So join Sharpie Nation on Facebook and just search for that.
Yes, please.
So I made a big mistake this week.
What'd you do?
Didn't mean to. We never shut our garage door overnight. I'm so glad that I didn't wake up dead.
Oh,
right?
I wouldn't be worried about waking up dead. I'd worry about what moved into your garage.
Animal-wise?
Mm-hmm.
I was worried about people.
No.
Well, thank goodness we have the cameras outside our house, so we have all angles of our home covered, and I verified nobody tried to enter or prowl around my open garage, but when I woke up and took the girls outside to go to school and it was already open, it was that sense of, oh, what could have happened?
Right.
Oh, man.
Sometimes we used to have a neighbor that would call us when we left our garage door open. It'd be like 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. She'd go, your garage is still open. I'd be like, hey, thanks.
Yeah,
Right
that's
up.
a good, handy reminder.
Yeah.
All right, on the show today is some old friends of mine. I held out this long, too, so you can give me a hard time.
Yeah, whatever.
They're probably names you're quite familiar with. The musical band Jagmac is our guest today. It's a clever acronym of the band members' names: Jared, Angelique, Gabriel, Manjo, Alyssa, and CJ. Now, like last week's guests, we three, this is also a family band because each of these band members are also siblings. Now, I knew them when I worked with this family when I was living in Baltimore. I'd shot a couple of their starter music videos for them, but they have come a long way since then. Their rise to fame took off in 2015 when they released several new songs and played a United Kingdom tour that included famous venues like Wembley Arena.
2016 and 2017 found Jagmac building their fan base while touring with Little Mix on a sold-out UK arena tour. By the time 2018 came around, they found themselves being awarded the Radio Disney's Next Big Thing Award and performed at the U.S. Open. Last fall, the group toured on their first multi-city U.S. concert bus tour with In Real Life winners of ABC's TV show Boy Band.
Jagmac's current album, Right Back With You, is available on iTunes, Spotify, and all other streaming platforms, just like this podcast. So, download their music, subscribe to Fan Counters. You can do it all in the next 40 seconds, and we'll start the show.
Coming to you from nowhere near the entertainment capital of the world, this is Fan Counters with Nick and Elizabeth on the PodFix network.
There was this mob of people, and they're screaming my name.
Crazy fans.
Stop following me. Don't come around my house. If you do, the cops are going to be at yours.
If I'm having dinner with my wife, don't sit down at my table. Don't follow me into the bathroom.
Can I take a picture? We're going to, oh my God.
I think this guy wants to fight me. Ended up being a fan.
I'm the only one that's ever been on Sam Jackson and lived to tell about it.
Well, guess what? I have a big surprise for you.
That's why we call it Fan Counters.
I don't think you're going to last on the air very long.
Hello, Jagmac. Welcome to Fan Counters. Thanks for being here.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Now, there are 6 of you in this band, so why don't we just take a moment? We're going to try and identify your voices, so let's go down the line from oldest to youngest. Why don't you say your name and maybe tell us about the most favorite city you've ever visited?
Starting from the oldest, hey, what's up, guys? My name is CJ. So I'm the oldest of the family of the band Jagmac, and probably one of my most favorite cities that I visited, especially when we were doing music, has probably have to be Chicago. It was a beautiful city, a lot of fun, great pizza.
Okay.
Okay, what's up, guys? My name is Alyssa, and CJ stole my answer. It was actually one of the few places that we got to explore a little bit because we had some extra time, and so we did see the Big Bean and had some awesome pizza. So I don't want to copy, but mine was Chicago too.
Okay.
Hello, this is Manjo. I'd have to say one of my favorite cities, I guess when we were on tour, was Texas, because I really enjoyed the food. Hey, this is Gabriel. So CJ and Alyssa also stole my answer. Chicago was a really awesome city. But another pretty cool place that we went to, like Alyssa said, we had some extra time while we were on tour and going to like some routes. We had to like take a trip. Not take a trip. We had to like take a day trip. Yeah, take a day trip just because the travel was so long. So we stopped in Beaver, Utah, which was a really interesting place that I never thought I'd visit in my life. And it was such a cool like little town with like nothing to do, but it was very cool. It was a nice experience.
Hey, this is Angelique, and I feel like we all just agreed on these, but we visited. Every city was different in its own way. Every city was very fun. I really loved. Utah was one of the best. Chicago, every place was really fun, but LA too. But are you talking about just the tour or just places we've been to in general?
Anywhere you've been to in general.
So we actually did a tour in the UK with a girl group called Little Mix, and we toured all over. Like we did the O2 Arena, we did so many arenas, and definitely the UK, London, Manchester, and the Philippines too. So we did that as well. That was super duper fun.
Hi, this is Jared. Probably my favorite place we've ever toured gotta be the Philippines. They've got like the best food and like the best water to like swim in. So probably my favorite place.
So yesterday was a big day for you guys. You released a new lyric video for your song IOU on Radio Disney's Facebook and Twitter page. So tell us a little bit about that song and what the recognition from Radio Disney has meant to you.
So this is CJ, by the way, and Radio Disney has just been a huge supporter of our group, and we're forever grateful for them. And yeah, they released the lyric video for IOU yesterday, and it was a really, really cool experience. We had a great time recording that song and writing it back in LA a few months back. And it was just a song that we wanted to try to dedicate to all of our fans and just tell them how much they really mean to us. And we thought IOU with like the vowels was kind of a fun, clever way to put like that, like you guys mean the world to us, and we want to just dedicate the song to you. And it was really cool that Radio Disney were the first people to release. And
did you want to talk a little bit about the recognition from Radio Disney, kind of what that all means to you?
They heard about us a few years ago, and they started playing one of our first songs that we released, So Good. And from then on, they've like really welcomed us into the family and just really made us feel super welcome. And even being named like I'm just gonna answer the next question too. Radio Disney's next big thing last year was such a huge accomplishment. The fact that Shawn Mendes, Fifth Harmony, Alessia Cara, people at that platform, were the other MVPs. We were just so shocked and so honored that they would even choose us. So we're just super grateful for them and all their support, and they're like family to us now.
Last week on the show, we had the band We Three, who are also siblings, and they rose to fame on America's Got Talent. Jagmac was able to bypass those televised talent competitions with your own found success. What was the turning point for you, and where did you know that this was it?
Hey, this is Manjo speaking. I think the turning point for us would have to be the being the NBT for Radio Disney. I think that really helped promote us and the group. And it was just a really, really cool experience. And that was just last year.
Now, your entire family has a black belt, which is fitting because your dad and mom own a martial arts studio. So when did music become a passion for your family, and how did you know that this was like something you guys wanted to pursue together?
When we were younger, music has always been... Oh, I'm sorry, this is Gabriel, by the way. Music has always been a part of our lives ever since we were younger. Our mom was the singer, our grandmother's the singer, but our dad was the dancer. So put it together, you kind of get like Jagmac. So growing up, it kind of started off as martial arts first, but music was always there. And it wasn't until our dad had a surprise birthday party that like we all came together, and our oldest brother CJ decided that we should sing a song for our dad. And after that, our dad was like, wow, you guys have like an actual like talent, and this could be a real thing. We were like, what? This is just for fun, just as a birthday present for you. So it wasn't until after that we realized, like, wow, okay, we can actually kind of do something with it. So martial arts was, like I said, was first. Music was always there, but now it's kind of a bit of both.
So, Angelique, you have said the band did not start out for money or fame. So, number one, what was the goal when you first started out the band? And two, for the rest of you, now that you've achieved so much success, what are your current goals for 2019 and beyond?
Right. We didn't start for the money and fame. We just wanted to put out positive and fun music, and that's still the goal. Our goal hasn't changed at all. But if there's the rest of the goals, I think hopefully, to win a Grammy, more touring, hopefully start charities and like foundations in the near future, TV appearances. There's just so much for the group. Acting as well. We just want to do it all. So any opportunity. Yeah, sky's the limit.
And who wants to speak about goals for this year and beyond?
So let's see, goals for this year. Definitely. So I know we just released IOU, but we are going to be releasing another single either later spring or summer. And I think that one is going to make a huge impact. It's really high energy. And I think Radio Disney is going to take a hold of it as well. So we've got that song being released and hopefully some festivals and summer tours. And then, who knows, maybe even an album this coming year. So we'll see what's in store for us.
I've heard some rumors about that album that's going to kind of piggyback off the 6 songs you just released. And we're going to talk about that in a little bit. But as long as I've known you guys, which, we had done some work together about 9 years ago or so, which is a long time. Your family life has been the most important thing for all of you. Getting along together, being together as a family. So now that you're working very closely with each other and having so much success, how do you continue to stay close? How do you avoid conflict when you're in tight spaces together and working so closely?
Ooh, good question. So this is Jared speaking. So how do we avoid conflict? Well, when we normally go on tour, our mom is normally with us. So if there's ever like a fight or anything, she kind of refs it. She's like the referee. She lets us talk, but she doesn't like make sure we don't hit each other. But yeah, no, we don't fight too much. I mean, we're kind of all of each other's best friends. Oh yeah, it's normally about like bathroom time. And
okay.
Manjo takes the longest with his long hair. Yeah.
Well, kudos for that, because I have siblings and I find it very difficult to be in small spaces with them. I can't imagine like spending time with 5 other brothers and sisters.
Yeah, it's difficult, but you get used to it, and we've lived with it our whole life. But like Jared said, our mom is always there, and she definitely keeps the cool, keeps us calm. And also, when we all eat together as a family, like our dad likes to make sure that all the problems are resolved, and it's just that he can't be on tour with us all the time because he's holding the fort down. Mm-hmm. we work at a martial arts school, and that's his family-owned business, so he can't always be with us. But yeah, our parents are always there helping us and guiding us.
Well, that was the next question. We mentioned in our opening that you had done some touring in the UK, and we wanted to know whether or not Mom and Dad came along. So Mom comes and Dad stays home. Is that the deal?
Yeah.
Yeah, but sometimes our dad will definitely try to find other instructors, and he'll also come along on tour with us. And he's always been very, very supportive since day one. I mean, it was his birthday party that we sang for to even start the band. So
right.
both he and my mom have played a huge role in our group and being just very supportive over the many years that we've been doing this.
Now, I've read that you guys have kind of designated Alyssa as the mother figure of the group, which now I find interesting because your mom's traveling with you. So where does that fit in for the role modeling and the helping and all of that? How is all that balanced between Alyssa and your mom?
Well, our mom isn't always there when we practice and rehearse, and so when she's not around, I have to kind of step in and make sure everyone's, not goofing around and we're all getting stuff done and being an efficient team.
Okay. And you are the second oldest, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
Okay. So, CJ, you are the oldest. And
yes.
You're about to celebrate your 2-year wedding anniversary with your wife. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm so excited.
So has your role with Jagmac changed at all since you tied the knot? Is your wife supportive of the time and commitment you have?
Oh man, she's so supportive. I think in a way she's also like kind of my number one fan. she always blushes on stage every time, or she blushes every time she sees me singing on stage. I sing to her at times, but no, she's been very, very, very supportive since the beginning, and she does actually come on the road with us at times. She'll travel, she'll take a flight, meet us there for a weekend, and then come back and work. But as far as my role, I would like to think I'm still the same CJ and Jagmac. The only thing that's different is I don't live at home anymore, but I still see my siblings every day. We rehearse all the time, and we stay in constant communication so that we're all moving together for the same common goal.
Now, what did the rest of you think when CJ was getting married? Were you worried that maybe the band wouldn't be the same? Maybe CJ would pull a Justin Timberlake and just, kind of go off and do his own thing?
I thought about it. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I know.
This is my chance.
Yeah, this is your chance, Mona. I don't think that he would have ever done that, because he's the one that actually kind of started the group. He wanted to be in the Backstreet Boys, so he, instead of finding other dudes, he just used his siblings. So I don't think he would be the one to quit.
Yeah, and like what CJ said, his wife's very supportive of the group. So she's kind of like, she's like another member to the group.
Oh.
So it's like Jagmac. So plus
Paola, the Jagmac.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about the music that you've been releasing. We mentioned it just before that there was a 6-song EP that came out called Right Back With You. So talk to us a little bit about where the songs came from. Did you guys write them yourselves as the entire group? Are just some of you writers? Where do you find most of your material?
Early on, it was kind of my brother and I, CJ, writing most of the lyrics. But nowadays, we all contribute and we all, share ideas and share concepts when we're in the studio. This EP was a lot of fun when we created it back in 2000. It was kind of like late 2017. And it was like the first time we could actually, express ourselves with real life, events and emotions and relationships. And we also got to work with some amazing writers out in LA. What's his name? Ramir Vincent and the Trust Group, Lauren Christie. These are really, really big writers who work with, top A-list artists in LA. And we were just so blessed to have them, as our team. But yeah, this was a lot of fun to create. I think one of my favorite songs was Not Sure. I could definitely relate to that. It was a song that really happened in real life. And, it's just like, anyone going into a new relationship, sometimes you're not always sure. And, you just kind of have to trust your gut feeling.
So do you find that just all of your lives are the most common inspirations for writing the new songs?
Oh, absolutely. You have to, when you're writing, it has to come from a real place, I think.
Okay.
And so it all helps with that, yeah.
And we all know that writing process sometimes can go really fast. You might have a song written in 20 minutes. Other times, I've heard some songs can evolve over time. So how many songs do you guys think that you have partially started or almost completed?
We have a lot. CJ?
I would say at least close to 100. I don't know.
Wow,
okay.
That's great.
It's definitely a lot.
It's just not out yet.
Well,
Yes, we have to go through the label. We have to make sure,
Get ready for a 10-part album.
Okay. An anthology's
It'll
already
take you a whole week to listen to.
So tell us about some of the songs on this EP. Which ones are your favorites and why? Now, we just heard Not Sure, but tell us about some of the other reasons why or which song is your favorite.
Hey, so this is Gabriel. One of my favorite songs off the album has got to be, I guess, like our biggest single that I'd say, Right Back With You. Like Manjo was kind of saying earlier, the whole next big thing kind of came from Right Back With You, and the music video that went along with it just like exploded, and it was awesome for the group, and it's just a good song to me. Like there's some songs that we have where I listen to and I just kind of get not annoyed, but I get tired of it because I hear it over and over and over again. But Right Back With You is one that like I never get annoyed of, and it's my favorite. Yeah.
So that'll be the one that you'll perform and never get sick of having to do live.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's my favorite, especially performing it like on stage and hearing the crowd like when they know the lyrics to your song, it's a feeling that you can't explain. You just can't like stop smiling. And so whenever we perform that particular song, it's always a favorite of mine.
Anybody else?
Yeah, this is Angelique speaking. I love the first song that's on the EP. It's called Be Honest. I really love the message to that. It's kind of like our anthem. And I kind of wanted one person to hear one of our songs. I think it would be that, because it's us in a song and the message in it. It's great, and that's what we stand for. So if you have the time to go check it out, you should be sure to listen to it.
Well, you fed right into my next question, which was, how do you describe your sound to anyone who hasn't heard any of you guys sing?
Ooh. That's a good question. Hey, this is Manjo. I would say our sound is very uplifting, very positive. All of our lyrics, we always try to just inspire people through our lyrics. But it's also very edgy in the sense of, the sound. It kind of sounds like if you were to combine, the Black Eyed Peas or the Jackson 5, just because we're family, but also, current sounding music.
Yeah, but we're all really soulful singers, so I think, throw some R&B in there, throw some, Christina Aguilera meets Ariana Grande type of sound.
Bruno Mars,
yeah.
Meets Justin Timberlake.
CJ's not going to let that one go.
No, I'm not. You guys... That's it, I quit.
Oh, man, we started something now.
Done.
Yeah,
no,
broken here on Fancounters. CJ leaves the band.
You guys broke the news first. There you go. No, just kidding. No, I love them.
A lot goes into making a band. You talked about writing some of these songs and having a hand in all of them. Are you also choreographing dance routines as well?
Yeah, so we do a lot of our own choreography. I'll try to get into our martial arts studio and then kind of teach my siblings a bunch of new dance moves. But we also work with a choreographer that's based out in LA. His name's Free Boogie, and he's flown to Baltimore a couple times. We've flown out to LA and worked with him. This dude is extremely talented. So he kind of choreographed our whole show, and I'll do what I can to revise some movements here and there. But no, he's a great choreographer. But we've also worked with other choreographers as well in the UK, and we just love to learn. We just love to dance, especially me.
Now, I know that you guys have been at this a long time, but with so much to learn, how did you learn everything? How did you know, how to put together and get on with a tour and, the choreography and the songwriting and the recording? I mean, there's so much to deal with. Where did you start?
So I think we've been just doing this for such a long time that it's almost in our nature. The martial arts has definitely helped with, learning choreography and discipline, and, just kind of having that background has helped us along the way, especially when it comes to crunch time, when we have to go out to LA for 3 weeks to learn 8 new routines in just a matter of 2 weeks or something. So we have a great team and a great support system, great managers, and a great label that, makes sure we look sharp and look clean and, want us to be the best we can be. So we're really thankful for that.
So let's talk about your wardrobe. You guys already dress like you have either a stylist or an unlimited budget. And I have to compliment that you look really good no matter whether it's a video or a TV interview. You all look very well put together. So who's got the vision when it comes to your clothes?
Actually, if you watch the Right Back With You music video, I'm not trying to brag or anything, guys. Come on. But my mom and I, we actually styled each other, and that actually saves a lot of money. And people usually ask us, how do you guys get these clothes? And I'm just just put it together, really. But no, it's us that style each other. I think we know what looks best on a person, and we kind of try to let that be their thing. But yeah, we actually, we style ourselves. But thank you. That was a nice compliment, kind of.
Kind of, it
we'll
was.
have our own clothing line for Jagmac.
Yeah.
You really could, because I got to tell you guys, anytime you show up on television, it is cutting edge stuff. You're wow, I wouldn't have thought to put that and that together, but holy cow, they did it and it looks awesome. So you could be inspiring. You definitely could be inspiring that as well.
Yeah. Doesn't Disney have a clothing line?
Probably.
Let's get some Jagmac labels.
They do.
On the
Disney has a
clothes.
clothing line. Yeah. So go hook up with Disney and tell them you're already part of their family and that you need a little help.
There we go.
Yes.
We talked about this in our opening. You guys were on tour, and Angelique mentioned it, with Little Mix in the UK. You were playing sold-out arenas, including Wembley Arena. Do you remember walking on stage that very first time a sold-out show was going on and you were performing? What was that like for you? What memories do you carry from those times?
Hey, so this is Gabriel. Man, that was, to this day, it still feels like a dream. Just that whole experience of being able to tour at such a high level with all those arenas. Every show, like every night, was 5,000, 6,000, 10,000. But the biggest one we did was, actually the two biggest. One was in Manchester. That was, I want to say, like 19,000. And then the one we did in the O2 Arena. Those were two shows that was 20,000, and I believe that was 20,000 each show, the attendance. Wow. So it was really, really crazy. I will never forget just being like backstage and getting ready to go on stage with all the nerves and everything. But once you get started, you don't get nervous at all. But it was the craziest feeling. There's videos all over our social media of us like performing a slow song with all the lights of the people's phones just like waving in the air. To me, that's still one of the highlights of our entire career.
So most recently you were on a U.S. tour with In Real Life. Did you notice any differences between touring in the U.S. versus touring in the U.K.?
Yes, in a sense. It was still both amazing, the U.K. and the U.S. tour that we did. They're an amazing group. They're very, very kind. But I think what the difference was for the U.S. tour, I feel like a lot of people, they knew our music. And every state or city we went to, they were always singing it. And we didn't really have that experience when we were in the UK because we kind of were just starting out. But I think that was one of them for me. It was that they all knew our music. And it wasn't arenas, but you were still on that stage doing what you love with the people you love.
Good answer. Anyone else have a thought about UK tours versus US?
I think we have better food here in the U.S.
I used to live in London. I will agree with that, yes.
And if I can also just add in really quick, I think one of the biggest also differences between the U.S. and the U.K., not only the food and the fact that the people knew our songs, but we also got to kind of hang out and meet some of the fans after the show here in the U.S., which made it a little bit more personal. In the U.K., the arenas were just so big that there was no time to actually meet or like do like a meet and greet or take pictures with fans. So after the U.S. tours, we really got to like meet these people on a personal level, and we just kind of grow relationships like that. And I think that level of just being so close made it really, really fun.
Well, since you brought up fans, let's jump there. Let's talk about some favorite fan moments, because on Fancounters, the hook of our show is that we get to find out what experiences with fans were like for you, because everybody's got their own story. Oh, you'll never believe what happened when I met so-and-so. Well, now you guys are so-and-so. So what are some of those crazy, weird, sweet, fun fan experiences that each of you have had? So let's go youngest to oldest, if you wouldn't mind. And let's just hear some of the fan moments that you will never forget.
Hi, so this is Jared. And my most favorite fan moment was before our show, I was on Twitter, and I was really hungry because we hadn't eaten lunch yet. So I was like, hey, I'm really hungry. I would love some Popeyes right now. And then so a couple hours later, we were on our bus, and then I hear knocking, and it was our tour manager, and he was like, Jared, come out here for a second. And then I come out, and then there's this girl, and she had a bag of Popeyes with her, and I was like, oh my gosh. And so yeah, I got Popeyes. And so that happened 3 times after that. So that's probably
nice.
My favorite thing.
Ask and you shall receive.
So,
on Twitter.
So Jared, I want to ask you this because some of the things that we have been talking about that we've talked on other shows is when people give people food. Did you eat it?
Jared
ate it.
To be honest, I ate some of his food too.
Well, we're in this world where you just never know when someone brings you food.
I know
that, I would have eaten it.
Yeah, I was just saying. I think Jared was so hungry he didn't even think about the risk.
No, but it's still so kind, even when they think about it and bringing us food and everything.
Yeah,
it's so nice because they're the ones that aren't eating. So I'm like, this is Andrew, by the way, and I'm like, why aren't you eating? They're like, no, but we want to feed you. So we have to go in the tour bus and give them our food. So we're like, you need to eat too, because they're sitting outside of these venues for hours and hours. And they have just like tiny little blankets, and it breaks my heart. So I'm just like, no, you need to eat.
Aww.
But I think for me personally, there has been so many amazing experiences that the fans have done to help us, and the surprises that they make for us. I think one of them, I'm actually looking at it right now, when we had our first sold out, it was sold out in our hometown Baltimore at Ram's Head. We didn't expect that many people to go. We were just, trying to do our best to talk about the show, but there were so many people that were there. And after we performed our first song, there was this one particular fan that flew from Orlando, and she handed out all of these signs, and they all held it up, and it says, if you know the song Be Honest, we say, be honest, do you really think this is paradise? And the sign said, let's be honest, this is paradise.
Aww.
And it made me so emotional because all of these people were holding up these signs, and I was just like, oh my goodness, like it was truly a blessing. And yeah, it was incredible.
Just jumping in for a second here to interrupt the stories, but do you guys find that your popularity as a band has helped the attendance at the martial arts studio? Is there a correlation here?
Interesting question. That's a good one.
Mona, do you want to take this one?
Yes and no. We don't always say what the name of our martial arts school is, just to kind of keep it a little separate. But no, there have been some, I think, fans that have found an interest in doing martial arts because of that. And whether it be a school in Maryland or somewhere else, they've actually started Taekwondo. And we've actually had a few, I think, fans start at our martial arts school as well. And it is really cool. It's actually a real honor that people kind of are doing what you do, and hopefully they enjoy it as well.
Okay.
Yeah. Also the support that we have at our martial arts school, they always come attend our shows as well. So
that's nice.
They're great.
Okay, so Jared, we're up to you. No, I'm sorry, Gabriel. Gabriel, my bad.
That's okay.
Gabriel, we're up to
worries.
you.
Okay. So Gabriel here. Man, I have too many amazing fan experiences, and I don't even like saying the word like fan, because to us they're just more than that, because without them, obviously, we couldn't be doing what we're doing. We call them like the Jagmac fam. They're more like a part of this big family. We're all achieving this together, But for me personally, I'm a huge sports fan, and I remember back we were in England a couple years ago, and we did this like summer show. And after the show, a little kid came up to me, and he had like this soccer jersey. And I just remember when I was growing up, like I would be so stoked to like meet all these like athletes and everything, and asking them for their autographs. I just remember that feeling. So a little kid came up to me, and he said, "Do you mind, like, can I have your autograph, and can you sign it on the back of my jersey?" And I was like, "Wow, how like this is incredible! Like I'll never forget this feeling." And just a couple months after that, well, not even a couple months, I think it was a couple weeks, one of our amazing like supporters, she bought me one of my favorite soccer jerseys with my name on it and my favorite number.
Oh, wow.
And I still have it to this day. Yeah,
that's nice.
Just little things like that, but it's been awesome.
Manjo?
Hey, one of my favorite experiences was actually the same person who did the signs that said, "Let me be honest, this is paradise." After that show, she asked us, what did you say? "Let's be honest, this is paradise." Sorry. But she went up to us after the show, and she wanted us to do a voice recording of us saying that we love her. And then afterwards, she tattooed it on the sound wave on her side. And then she also asked me to write "I love you" in Tagalog, which is the Filipino language, so which is mahal kita. So I had to write it out, and she also put it on the tattoo. So that was a really cool experience.
Wait, so she's got a tattoo of "I love you" on the sound waves from you writing it?
The sound wave of all of us saying, "I love you." We didn't know what it was for. She just said, "Come here, let me record you saying I love you." We're like, "Okay, sure." And then she's like, "Okay, I'm going to get this sound wave tattooed on my side." We're like, "What?"
Wow.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's a new one. We've not had anything like that before.
No. Okay, so I guess it's my turn. And, like what all my other siblings are saying, these people are more, special to us. We don't really call them fans. We call them Jagmac fam. And, they've been so supportive since day one, and they just keep on growing. And they, start new relationships and start having, new best friends because, they heard about our group. And that's a beautiful thing to see. They'll share with us stories on Instagram or whatever. And they're like, because of you, I have a new best friend, which is really sweet. So one really special moment, was actually recently. We were recording our new song out in New York. And by accident, I had put the location of where we were on a story on Instagram. And so we have some fans there as well who came out and, were waiting for us outside the building. But I had completely forgot that I put the location. So once we left the building, a few of them surprised us by they were hiding behind a sign or in a building, and then ran out and they started opening how we open our show by saying, okay, New York, are you guys ready to have a good time tonight? And then they start doing our routine, and I thought it was the sweetest thing. They just surprised us in the middle of New York City. They all came from different places, but they all wanted to see us so bad that they did that. And it was raining, it was cold, and they waited for a long time for us to finish recording, and then they made that little routine. I just thought it was so sweet.
Those are special family friends, yeah.
Definitely. And then for me, I would have to say one of my favorite moments with the fans would be actually just a few weeks ago. We did a show in Virginia, and there were some fans that we were meeting after the show, and they were coming up to us, giving us these gifts. They had these little bags for me, here you go, CJ. I'm like, oh, thank you. And then they gave me another bag, and I was like, okay. And then they're like, oh, I'm sorry, that one's not for you. I'm like, what? It's like, oh, so these are for your wife. And I was like, oh my gosh. So they were giving her gifts as well, these just sweet chocolates and notes, and they're just very, very sweet. So not only thinking about me, but my wife as well, which is the kindest thing in the world.
Well, and that is much better than them just hitting on you, ignoring the fact that you have a wife. So
Yes. Yeah.
I give them a lot of credit.
They respect it.
Yeah.
So now, Manjo, you mentioned Tagalog. Are you all bilingual in the house?
Well, okay, so we understand just a little bit. Some of us understand a little bit of Spanish, not too well. But my dad, he moved here from the Philippines when he was 6, so he kind of forgot the language. So whenever we do try to learn, it's from our grandparents.
Okay.
But it's just a little bit.
We're learning.
We are trying, though.
We're trying.
Well, I have.
We could if we had.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, if we had to, stay in the Philippines for 6 months or something, I feel like we could all pick it up pretty easily, just because we've heard it, but it's just not that familiar. But go ahead. What were you going to say?
Well, I was just going to say I have family that happens to be Filipino, and they do speak Tagalog, but I'm often wondering, because I think he just threatens them in Tagalog. You're not in line, and then he says something that they all snap in place when he says it. So I'm like, you're just threatening them, aren't you? So Manjo, you have the most unique name. Is it much more Filipino than the rest of them?
I think whenever you combine names, it makes it a Filipino name.
Okay.
But yeah, so my real name is Emmanuel, and my middle name is Joseph. So my dad, when I was a baby, he just combined both of them. So now you get Manjo.
Got it. Okay.
Now,
Yeah. Well, we all have our nicknames. This is Angelique. Gabriel has a really unique nickname. Do you want to share it?
Okay, so growing up, I'd always go by my nickname, but as I got older, I kind of just stuck with my first name, which is Gabriel. But my nickname is Gamay, which is short for Gabriel Michael. You take the 2 letters from Gabriel and Michael, you put it together in Gamay. But also in the Filipino language, Gamay means small. So it was kind of fitting for me because I was so small growing up. Even to this day, I'm pretty small. So whenever somebody calls me Gamay, that's how you know, they're a good child, good friend or family. No one just calls me Gamay. But it's funny because I keep my Instagram still as of mine because that'll never change.
All right.
I was going to say, until now, when you go back on tour and everybody hears this, then you'll have new fans with signs out there.
That's true. I suppose that's fine.
Now, we heard your fan experiences. Have you guys ever met somebody where you've been starstruck? You've worked with some top-notch, top-name people. So have you ever been starstruck around a celebrity?
Well, yeah. So we were in the studio last year, and we were recording actually that song, Be Honest. And it was crazy because after we finished, we heard someone was coming into the studio. We're like, well, who's coming in? And then in walks in Randy Jackson. I'm like, oh my gosh. So just meeting him from American Idol was really, really cool, at least for me.
Yeah.
But yeah.
The dog.
Yeah. What's up, dog? Zach the dog.
For me, it would have to be when we were at the RDMAs this past summer, the Radio Disney Music Awards. And unfortunately, I didn't get to meet her, but I saw Janet Jackson, like, 10 feet in front of me. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, she exists. And she's actually real. That was the kind of moment that I was super starstruck, I'd have to say.
Okay, so this is Manjo. I would say my first starstruck moment wasn't actually an artist. It was actually an athlete. He's my favorite football player. His name is Ed Reed, and he was just inducted in the Hall of Fame last what's it called? Whenever it was off season.
Mm-hmm.
And we were at a restaurant, and I was probably like 8 or 9 years old. We were at a restaurant, and me and my siblings were in the bathroom, and then in walks in Ed Reed. And then as we walk out, we were just so excited that it was him, that me and my siblings, I don't know, do you know who Ray Lewis is? He's another famous football player.
Yeah.
He has like a famous dance that he does. So we were just so excited, and we just started busting out the Ray Lewis dance.
Oh, really?
And then afterwards, my dad was kind enough to ask him if he was Ed Reed, and he was like, yes, I am. So I got an autograph by him. That was like my favorite moment.
What did he do? Well, how did he react when you guys did the dance?
I don't think he saw the dance. We kind of did it like as he walked out of the bathroom. We did it in the bathroom, by ourselves.
Nice.
We were so excited. It was a long time ago. But this is Gabriel. I want to say one of my favorite experiences or starstruck moment. Another was a football player, Ray Lewis. I just met him in training camp, and he's the GOAT, like the greatest player of all time, great leader, great athlete. But besides like football and like athletes, we toured with Little Mix, right? And to be honest, when we were touring with them, I didn't really know too much about them. I wasn't like not that I wasn't a big fan, but I just didn't know really anything. And it wasn't until after the show that I got like really like emotionally attached to one of the singers from the band. Her name was Perry. She's beautiful, gorgeous. And for like a year, I was like, Gabriel, I was touring with her for a month. Why didn't I like say anything, or like why was I so shy and all this? So a year goes by, and 106.5, our like local pop station here, they held an event for Little Mix because they were touring with Ariana Grande, and they came in the Baltimore area. So we got the invite to go meet up with them again. It was great seeing them. And when I just remember seeing Perry, and I was like jittering, and I was like shaking. I had all the feelings, but yeah, it was cool.
So did you have a moment then?
Did I have? Oh my gosh, yeah, I did have a moment. I was like blushing. She could tell. She was like, "Oh, I can't even go there. I'm just gonna pass the phone."
Yeah, he loves her. Maybe one day when he go my.
Maybe one day.
This is Angelique. To be honest, I think being an artist I don't know. Okay, I shouldn't say this, but sometimes I don't really get starstruck by people. But I did have a really cool moment with meeting someone, and it was Raven Simone.
Oh, really?
I used to watch her show all the time. My cousin had like her perfume and everything, so I would use that like, ooh, I have a vision, whatever. And we actually shared the elevator with her, and I offered her some chips. Her and Miley Cyrus' sister. So I was like, yeah, Noah Cyrus. I was just because we were talking about how hungry we were, and they just kept cracking up, and I was like, do you guys want a chip? I don't remember if they took one though. I think I finished all of them.
Oh, that was going to be my next question.
That was really, really cool experience. And just, being in the same room with all those amazing artists and actors and actresses. That was super, super cool. But if I do have a super duper starstruck moment, I'll be sure to tell you guys. And I'm kind of nervous for that moment. This one's going to happen. Might be like a chef or something. I love food.
Gordon Ramsay.
Jared?
Bobby Flay.
Hi, so this is Jared speaking. So probably like my most starstruck moment is it's really silly. So it was actually at the RDMAs in like the green room. So we were going into the green room, and I was talking to CJ's wife, Paola, and this is like one of the yodeling kid, like was like really, really, really super popular. I was like, yo, how cool would it be if we met him at the RDMAs? She's like, no, he's not gonna be there. And so we start walking into our backstage area, and I can see like his hat. I was like, no way. And I said that like really, really loud, and he turned around. I was like, oh my gosh, Nathan Ramsey, what's up? And then we just hung out with him like the whole time we were backstage, and we were teaching him martial arts while we were waiting. So that was probably my most favorite starstruck moment.
When you are visiting cities, are you breezing in and out? Are you able to see anything when you're on the road? What is that touring experience like for you?
I would say when we were doing like different cities every day, it was kind of hard at times to actually enjoy it unless we had a day off. So I know like for the one in Chicago, we had a day off in between. The one in Utah, it was kind of a day off. But other than that, there wasn't really a lot of time just because our tour bus would leave so late in the evening. We would be driving overnight, and then we'd get there maybe for a few hours, have lunch somewhere, and maybe see like a quick like monument or something in the city just for like an hour or so, and then we'd have our sound check and then do the performance, leave the next day. So it was a little hard at times to actually enjoy it, but I think for the times we did have off, we definitely took advantage, and we would just try to find as many cool things in the city, try new food. But yeah, that was our experience with that.
But sometimes we were just so like worn out from the show that like even if we did have a day off, we wouldn't even want to go anywhere.
All we want to do is sleep.
To be honest.
Yeah,
that's true. Sleep is probably precious time when you're on the road.
Oh yeah.
So with the six of you, how do any decisions get made? Like who's making? I mean, it's not an odd number, so there isn't you can majority rule, but how do any decisions about where you're going to go, where you're going to eat, how you're going to get there, how do any of those decisions get made?
Yeah, that's funny that you mentioned that because you're right. There are six of us, so like whenever our parents will ask, and it's 3 and 3, like we don't know how to break the tie.
Right.
Usually a fight to the death is probably.
CJ just threatens to leave the band, and then he gets his way.
Depends. No, especially when it comes to food. Oh my gosh, we all have different tastes. Some want Indian, some want Chinese, and sometimes we'll just get just the different things, and then we all just share.
Mm-hmm.
But we usually come to a decision, amongst the family, and there's usually never any serious problems. But we've never had to make like any serious decisions that. Who pays for the gas this week? Real stories.
That's a real story. Okay, let's go there. Pay for gas. Do you guys have each your own car? I mean, most of you are in your 20s now, so what's your driveway look like at your house?
We have a couple family cars that we all kind of rotate. I wouldn't say there's one like designated to each person. So it's just like, if this car is not available, I'll take this car. But we're very lucky that our parents, have these extra cars that we can use. But like, this is funny because we literally just had this conversation a few days ago about filling up the gas because, one's a smaller car, one's a bigger car, but we all kind of drive both. It's just like, well, I filled up the smaller car. It's like, well, the other one, takes $50.
That's right.
Yeah.
But since we go to the same place to work and we're all in the car, that's hard. so we're still trying to figure it out. So if you have any tips, let us know.
No, I'm the mom of 2, and Nick is the dad of 2, and we're just thankful that we're only going to have to deal with 2, not 6.
Bless your mom and dad.
That's right.
So, Alyssa, you kind of teased an album maybe coming out this year. Is that something that you're working really strong? Like, is that a major goal to get another 10 songs or something out this year? Or where is Jagmac going in 2019?
Oh, yeah, most definitely. Like, me as an artist and as a writer, I definitely just want to constantly be pushing music out there, because someone who listens to music on a daily basis and new music, I'm always excited when I find out that, you know, my favorite artist is putting out more music. So I can't even imagine how some of the fans feel. But most definitely, if not a full-length album, definitely another EP within the next few months or so. But we have so much music and so much material for you guys. It's going to be amazing. And we hope you all enjoy it.
Now, tell everyone where they can find you on all of the different platforms.
Yep, so we're on everything. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, everything, like at Jagmac or Jagmac Music. One thing, so yeah, our IOU music lyric video just got released on our YouTube today. So for everyone, go and watch it. You know, we had a lot of fun creating it. It was me, Angelique, and Jared who did like all the writing and the animation and the creation of it. So it was a lot of fun to put together and to say, oh, you know, I wrote this lyric and I literally wrote it.
That's awesome.
You know. So
And for those wanting, and also for those wanting more, you can also visit our website at jagmacmusic.com. So yeah.
Absolutely.
Before we go, something that I was curious, because I was telling Elizabeth before we went on that I knew you guys as Musix, MUSIX.
Yeah.
So there was a name change at some point. Do you want to talk about that?
So we've actually gone through like an evolution of different names. So when we first started out, we were really called Soul Sonic 6, and that was a name our dad created.
Okay.
And that didn't last too long because we were like, this is very 80s. And then our dad came up with Word Up, and we stuck with that for a while until, I don't know what made us change it, but for some reason we changed it to Mu6, and we thought that it was the original idea, you know, no one else had it, and we started using that name for a couple of years as well until we found out that there was another group who had trademarked it, and so we couldn't use it anymore. And so the process for finding Jagmac was actually a long one. We had like different ideas, like, you know, something with six and sound, and until our mom, we were like on the way to Florida or something, and our mom kind of was playing with the different, you know, acronyms, and she was like, because it didn't work from CJ to Jared, it would have been like Cam Gadge. So when she kind of put it, you know, reversed from youngest to oldest, and she was like, Jagmac, Jagmac, like it just. She all really liked it, and then the rest of them really liked it. And for me, it took me a long time to actually commit to it. But once I did, I was fine. You know, I was happy with it, and you know, we trademarked it, and it's officially ours, so no one else can have it.
That's awesome. Okay,
great.
Anything else we didn't get to or didn't mention that you wanted to make sure that it gets broadcast to the fans?
Oh, I would just say just keep following us on our social media platforms, and we'll be sure to let you guys know, you know, the next show that we have, or the next coming event, or next single that we're going to be released, which is going to be soon, definitely within the next month or so.
Thank you guys so much for joining us. We really appreciated it.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Nick.
Our thanks to Jagmac, Jared, Angelique, Gabriel, Manjo, Alyssa, and CJ for being on the show today. And I knew a lot about them already. I learned a lot more, and I introduced you to them.
Yeah, how delightful.
They're a good group of kids. And I call them kids, even though now they're in their 20s and getting married. But, you know, it's all the same. Go on out and get their new music. It's called Right Back With You. It's available on iTunes, Spotify, and all other streaming platforms. And if you love this podcast, go ahead and hit the subscribe. We've got more celebrity guests coming up next week. Elizabeth, any closing thoughts?
No, you can always reach us at hello@fancounters.com. Or I really do encourage you all to join us on Sharpie Nation.
That's on Facebook.
That is on Facebook, where you can ask your questions. And sometimes Nick puts out things like a little sneak peek of what our next guests are going to be, and if you have any questions for them. So that's a good thing to join so that you get a heads up of what's coming down the line.
I'm surprised you do that. Yep, if you want to know our guests ahead of time, it's the only place I'll tell you. I won't tell you on Twitter.
Right.
Or anywhere else. You have to join Sharpie Nation, and you'll find out the guests ahead of time.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you guys have a great week. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll be back with a brand new guest next Friday.
See ya. Bye.
This was a podcast from the PodFix Network.
Check out more shows like it at PodFixNetwork.com.